It's about time, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode 3 of the crazy saga that is Chucky Lozano versus San Diego FC. And with the MLS transfer window officially open, there are now real possibilities of an Irving Chucky Lozano exit. Today, I'm here to break down 5 possible destinations of where he could end up. Sit back and relax, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can't find this Mexican international next. FC have confirmed that they're actively working with Irving Lozano's representation, working on an exit for him as he is no longer a part of the team's plans moving forward through the 2026 season. They are looking for both permanent transfers as well as loans. Looking around Europe, Italy, maybe he can go back to Turkey, and of course, the somewhat obvious LigaMX. Now, this could be a bit of an issue for some teams as he is an aging player who now has a stigma around him, being a locker room diva, a possible locker room cancer. He makes about $7.5 million guaranteed. Maybe that's not a lot of money. It all depends on the club. Now, we see big money be thrown around in all these other leagues. MLS and LigaMX are not these other leagues. Okay? They're not these other leagues. If he were to go to LigaMX, we would likely need to sell him at a discount. Which brings up my first team, Cruz Azul. According to transfer projections, Cruz Azul has been linked with interest in Chucky Lozano, especially as a marquee signing that fits their attacking system. And this is one that 100% makes sense. He's played in LigaMX before. This is a club in LigaMX that can build around him, give him the pedestal for him to sit on, if you will. And of course, he's spoken about playing in Mexico again in the past, and he has no objections to it. So, considering that there's already been negotiation talks between the two, my number 1 is Cruz Azul. Now, another name that you might have heard is actually within the MLS, and I have a few names within the MLS because I think he made that big of an impact as a player that teams are going to want to take notice. And another team that has already been rumored, it's already been put up on the Instagrams and on the TikToks, Atlanta United. Multiple sources and fans have even discussed pointing towards Atlanta United as a club that could be very interested in the work of Chucky Lozano, linking him with Tata Martino. Atlanta would have it of a free DP spot for Chucky Lozano, and of course, they could always reconstruct his wages. As I said, if you're going to keep him in the MLS, we're going to have to sell him at a bit of a discount. They have the ambition of a fan base to chase a player of his caliber. It's something that they want. Atlanta wants to get back to the promised land. They want to get back to be the relevant. You know what I mean? They're a big squad out there. You have to deal with the Hawks. You got to deal with the Falcons. You want to bring joy to Georgia. And what a better way to do it than adding an explosive left winger that can maybe get you right into the MLS playoff scene. It is definitely an option. Speaking of options, I'm going to stick with the land of the MLS. This one is going to hit a little closer to home for some. There have been some talks. There have been some rumblings. I have heard no true negotiations. I've heard no true talkings from anyone outside of the IDKs, the fans, if you will, the pundits, the fan pundits. Let's go. There you go. The closet pundits, the back room talkers. This is one place that they've talked about, and it's going 2.5 hours up north to play for the LA Galaxy. No official offer has been reported yet. The Galaxy have historically pursued big attacking stars when the opportunity arises. Chucky fits that profile. If they have a balance in the salary cap and logistics, it could work. You have to think about how they've been hit with injury, LA Galaxy, and how they could use a new star player to garner even more attention, to get that fan base going more so. Remember, LA Galaxy was the team that brought in all these big names, okay? Without David Beckham going to the LA Galaxy, maybe we don't have half the players that we have right now in the MLS. It's very much a possibility. Again, LA markets marquee players. Also has a massive Mexican international fan base, Mexican Americans, East LA. You know the jokes in the gimmicks. I can go deep down it. We obviously have bigger hearts here in San Diego, where maybe we're a little more Mexican. I don't know. I don't want to start a war. I'm just more my side than their side. But I got to stay on their side for a little bit, because number 4 is one that we really don't want him to go to, and it's LAFC. Again, another club that has had no official offer or attempt to sign Irving Chucky Lozano. But it is another club with ambition who's chased high-impact attacking talent in the past. We saw how they jumped during the summer transfer window on Tottenham Hotspur's ace, the man that just won them the Europa Trophy, or the Europa League Trophy, Heung-min Son. They went out, they paid $22 million to go get him. They, at one point, went out of their way to sign Gerard, and Gerard, unfortunately, didn't work out. There's ties right now to Antonio Griezmann. Why not, and I hate saying it like this, but why not save a little bit of money, get a recognizable player in Irving Chucky Lozano, put him on the left, and again, saying this as a Spurs fan, Sonny was dangerous down the middle. And you force him down the middle, you force Buaga off to the right, or you run a 4-4-2 variation of Son and Buaga up top and Chucky more through the middle, which sounds even more dangerous now that I say it out loud. They could be looking at another MLS Cup without question. So that's one to be very afraid of. And considering the amount of money that LAFC have, it could be a very, very big possibility. Now, my number 5 is going to be one that I'm sure a lot of people have already thought of. And it's going to be one that, to me, I don't want to say makes the most sense. But if you're going to go back to LigaMX, go back to the club that you started with. Finally, his boyhood club, Pachuca. They've obviously been mentioned in numerous sources as exploring the idea of bringing him back on loan to strengthen their squad for international competitions. Let that be known and said. Wants to do it for international competitions. He wants to strengthen the squad. For why? For the League Cup. For the Champions Cup, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, for the ability of getting the Mexican internationals in Mexico to play for them, so that way they know who they're picking internationally. And then again, boyhood club. This one is more sentimental, but very much a realistic possibility. One that can keep him in Mexico playing on the consistent basis that he wants, so he can attract the proper attention for his overall goal, which is, again, the reason why he told them he didn't want to leave, the reason why it got leaked to Fabrizio Romano that he doesn't want to leave San Diego is because his ultimate goal is to get back to the Mexican international team. Plain and simple. He wants time on the pitch to prove to the Mexican international coach he can still do what he can do no matter what's going on in the background and around. He's still this player. He wants to represent Mexico in the World Cup playing on U.S., Mexican, and Canadian soil. It's a chance for everyone to get a little more famous. I hate saying it like that, but it's very much the truth. Very much the truth, especially considering the fact that they're playing here in North America this year. Getting the American eyes on this game internationally, finding the players from Mexico, Sweden, England, Japan, Turkey, Siberia. You name these places, you will find world stars in them that you can tie to a team in the Premier League, in Serie A, in La Liga, in the Bundesliga. You can find a top player and put them to their league and then have fun following it. When you do that with Chucky Lozano, you can go right to LigaMX, or you could have came to San Diego FC. But that is going to be the overall goal. Get yourself that much more famous. Get good on the international stage. Pad your pockets because I'm an international superstar. Now, the MLS window, as I stated earlier, is open. So here's how fast things can normally happen. As you had already seen from some teams, like Franco Negri being signed to the Houston Dynamo, about 24 to 47 hours, 24 to 72 hours, rapid announcements will come if they've already secretly agreed to terms. So those are the ones that you're going to see leaked online. Within the first week, teams are negotiating salary, loan terms, and of course the DP spot logistics. Later in the window, as the weeks go on, it could be caused by wages issues. International moves can get complicated by the deal. There could be visa issues, many of things, especially issues like right now. I know a lot of San Diego FC fans are dying to have some massive signing. A Rob Lewandowski, a Raheem Sterling. The possibilities are endless. All these different names that could come in and force something different from the international realm. We can't do anything because we have a DP spot allocated. We have money allocated in Chucky Lozano. And until he's moved, none of these fun moves that we're praying for are going to actually be able to happen. So this is part one. Or step one, before we can even think about step two. Now, luckily for us, this window is going to be open for a bit, so we do have some time. We don't have a lot of time, but we have some. Now, because Chucky is under contract through 2028 and is one of the MLS's highest earners, fifth, by the way, any club that wants him has to manage their wage budget and has to have a DP spot available for him, and those need to follow the rules. I've said this part two. If he goes somewhere in Europe, whether it is like Turkey, whether it's somewhere like maybe I don't want to say like Berlin, maybe. If he goes out there, or even the LigaMX go, they're gonna want a discount fee, or they're gonna want them to pay some of his fee, which can absolutely slow things down. But given that the windows are right there, the window's wide open, his representation is working hard with San Diego FC to find him a proper club, to find him exactly what he's looking for. I'm hoping, before the start of the 2026 season, Irving Chucky Lozano is just positive thoughts in our mind. And we wish him well wherever he does end up. So, all in all, as I talked about this all has to do with him getting time on the pitch to prepare for the World Cup. And with the World Cup scheduled for this summer, playing regularly is a massive, 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 and I'm going to say it one more time, massive thing for Chucky Lozano. He's got to get those time. He's got to get the minutes. If he doesn't get the time, doesn't get the minutes, doesn't get the eyes on him, he will again not make it to the Mexican international team. Granted, he did during the Gold Cup run and during international duties, and he did unfortunately get hurt while playing out there. But considering all that he's been through, considering now the exit from San Diego FC, he's going to want something to hang on to. And that Mexican international spot is it. Getting him to one of these teams, or any other team for that matter, and padding our pocket while giving him the minutes is going to be beneficial for the both of us. And it's going to help soften the blow for the Chucky fans that are still San Diego diehards. So, again, with the transfer window, as it stands, San Diego FC is actively pushing to get Chucky out. I named at least 5 clubs, both LigaMX and MLS, that are ideal suitors. I will constantly say Wrexham for the fun of it, because I always think that a player of his quality, if he can make it in the championship, you could probably make it in the Prem. The problem is, I think he might be a little too aged to play at the championship level there in England. But I could be wrong. Then again, maybe Rob and Ryan just don't have that kind of bread to spring for an Irving Chucky Lozano. And then, of course, I talked about how the deals vary throughout the window. So that's it from me. The next time you hear anything about Chucky Lozano from right here is going to be when and where he leaves to. Whether it's on loan, whether it's on permanent sale, or whether we just terminate his contract. When that happens, I will be back to discuss it, to figure out the impact, and to talk about who could replace him. But actually, that's my next episode. I have 5 names that can replace Chucky Lozano in the 2026 season. And spoiler alert, 2 of them are on the roster. We'll catch y'all in the next one. We'll catch y'all around the bend.